Hello, welcome back to Radio Free Gastonia, the internet's 14th top choice for just barely reliable, good enough historical content. I promise we're going to work on those numbers. I really do. But I've had a lot of uh, nicknames and nom de plumes in my time. When I was younger, I used to enjoy just like making up names when I met strangers and making up stories and stuff like that. But one of them that I used for a while, which was just completely a joke, was Dr. Vondra Canard Moti. I'm sorry, my French is so bad. But it basically means to half sell a duck. It's an expression, as far as I understand, in French that means to like basically trick somebody, to half sell a duck. And I always thought that was a funny expression. And I think that applies to lots of things in politics. I think almost any situation you can see that, like, whether it's Chuck Schumer or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or whoever, are like lying to you. They're trying to half sell a duck. And, I'm reminded of this very much now because of some of the recent events in our culture and our politics, where there's this massive and concerted and unrelenting attack on institutions of higher education on ideological grounds. That any school that teaches anything about like race or gender or like, I don't know, the goddamn civil rights movement, Reconstruction, that this has to be stamped out, and we are going to ruin people's lives. We're going to destroy your career. We're going to destroy your college. We're going to destroy your businesses. We are going to use the power of the federal government to just destroy everything, unless you capitulate to whatever like bizarre. I mean, they don't even know what their like official narrative is. They're just like, we don't like this one. And, as a professor at a public university, I'm very attuned to this. I'm very concerned about this. I'm not going to stop teaching about the civil rights movement. How can I be a history professor and not like teach about the history of Jim Crow? Like, what are you people talking about? But they've done this in very symbolic and very, high-profile situations with, Columbia and Harvard and Penn. Basically, Trump doing what Trump does, which is to extort and shake down people. That's what he's done his entire career. Ask any carpenter in New Jersey or tile layer who's gotten ripped off and sued for like $100 million and countersued by Trump just because he didn't want to pay his bill. So that's what Trump does. And now they're shaking down Columbia and all these big universities. Columbia happens to be my alma mater, which is very funny for various reasons. But it's so obvious that like these people who spent the last like at least 5 to 10 years screaming about like free speech being suppressed and cancel culture, like, oh, and conservatives are being suppressed, and like, free speech, because all the woke ideology. It's like, well, now you're in charge, and you're literally telling people you will not have a job, you will not have a career, you will not have a college, you will not have an institution, you will not have a nonprofit organization, you will not have a school of any kind if you don't bow to our demands. I mean, like, that's exactly what's happening. It's almost like the Chinese Cultural Revolution, where like like 17-year-old red guards were like just beating a guy to death with like chalkboard erasers or something. Um, it's happening, and like I see some credulous things in the media where it's like, well, the conservatives or Republicans said they really cared about free speech. Kind of weird that this is happening. It's like, bitch, did you ever think they cared about this at all? They cared about free speech, and what are they, fucking Jurgen Habermas? Like they care about the public sphere and the open like democratic like discourse? Of course they don't. They're using it as a cudgel against their enemies. And so we have a new McCarthyism. This is very clear. Anybody who has a brain on their head, who has eyes to see and ears to listen, I don't mean to be ableist, but if you're paying attention at all, if you have any way of understanding what's happening, it's very clear. They never cared about. Are you kidding me? Like the right wing Republican conservative Christian people care about free speech. I just heard them on the radio yesterday saying empathy is bad, empathy is evil, empathy is aligned with the devil. No one should ever be empathetic. It's like, homie, dude. Like, how are you doing, man? I know you don't drink, but like, can we just like hang out and talk for a minute? Because that seems really. You think empathy is evil? Anyway, that's the mentality these people are coming from. Of course, Trump and all the people around him are complete opportunists and don't really care about any of this, but they're being the vehicles for other people like APAC and the donors and alumni of elite universities who really want to see dissent tamped down, who do not like the fact that like there are people like Rashid Khalidi who are teaching in Middle Eastern studies departments, who are actually teaching about the actual reality of the truth of what happened in history. They don't want that. Of course they don't. Like, of course they don't. But this is the most Pravda ass shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. There's been attempts to censor academia or scholarship or the media, but I've never seen anything to this extent. And they know what they're doing. I mean, they're not very smart, so I don't know how much they know what they're doing, but it is quite clear that this is meant to chill dissent, scare people, make people not mean to make. I'm sorry, not to make people not willing to speak out or to write or to say things that are dissenting. It's I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Tim Snyder, but like what Snyder says about fascism is that like they want you to preemptively censor yourself. They want you to. We don't even have to censor you or clamp down. We want you to censor yourself in your own mind, so that you're scared about like saying something before you even say it. We have to fight this. I know that's easy for me to say because I'm in like a relatively comfortable position, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily going to always be the case either. What I'm saying is, I was in a meeting with, local activists a few days ago, and I didn't want to say what university I was associated with. I'm not willing to say it on this like stream either. But like it has already creeped into my head that like you have to be careful. And that's what fascism wants to accomplish, is to put the little spy in your head. We do have to be realistic and realize that that is something to be concerned about. Like, paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Buffalo Springfield. That's way back in like 1967, I think. I know that many of my friends who are in the, like the teaching profession, academia, publishing, the media, are really, especially in the education field, very threatened right now. What I can say is the only thing that will expedite um, our submission and surrender is surrender. We have to be careful and, judicious and wise about what we say or do, but like um just unilaterally submitting before there's even a threat is not a good thing, which is exactly what Columbia University has done. I'm ashamed to have been associated with this school. But I also know there's lots of great people who work at that university, the staff and faculty and the students. Um, I mean, the leadership of this institution is craven beyond all imagination. But we still have to work with the people we have, and there's a bunch of great people at Columbia University we need to work with. So like, and try to move things forward because uh, I'm just saying surrendering is not an option. And I know that sounds like so sort of like stentorian or something, but um, I know things aren't easy. I know this is going to be hard. Um, I'm not encouraged by things that are happening, but um, I'm saying to you, as an Arab American trans woman who grew up in a working class town in North Carolina, that like things can change, things can get better. The position we're at the moment does not look very good. But I wouldn't still be waking up every day unless I thought that there was some hope, like some change can happen. And in a year or two, who knows? So, you know, don't believe these people when they say bullshit about like, oh, I care so much about freedom of speech, oh, free speech, blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck you. You are being the most insincere asshole who's ever fucking lived in the fucking dead universe in which we exist. So, all right. Bye.